Namaskar, viewers. Today's episode is dedicated to young entrepreneurs, and now since it's an evening, so chai time, and it's a very regular practice that in Indian context we want to have some snacks along with tea, and by default it goes to a quick, yummy, and most popular snacks. So I remember one discussion with my friend circle wherein I said that I have bakar vadi, and suddenly somebody quickly asked me, Chitale. So I must say that it's a very known brand and very popular brand, of course. So today I got an opportunity to speak with a young generation member of this family who is a software engineer by profession, and she is taking care of the IT department of Chitale Bandhu brand, as well as she has her own venture into software technology. So, how is the journey being Miss Chitale and also an entrepreneur? Also, what are the future plans and the experiences? All that we'll talk to her. So, let me formally welcome and introduce Miss Janhavi Chitale to the program. You are most welcome.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure talking to you and just discussing about my work.
Sure. Pleasure is all mine. And you are my 82nd episode today. Uh, so that gives me another pleasure. So, Janvi, how has been the childhood?
Childhood was, I guess, pretty day-to-day stuff. Any normal family. I think when we were growing up, we didn't realize that we were
Ah,
part of a family which has become a legacy. And
mm,
I think that much credit I give to my parents that we were never aware of all of these things. So we had a pretty regular childhood where we enjoyed all the day-to-day activities which
mm.
normal people do.
Okay. And did you also enjoy eating bakarwadi and all the snacks that we enjoy?
Yes, definitely. So I think in terms of all the food, we've been eating on all of these products since we were kids,
Ah,
and we definitely have a taste about what we like and what we don't. So
ah,
bakarwadi has definitely been my favorite since we were growing up as well.
mm.
We were the unofficial taste testers of any new products which were
Ah,
coming up. So from that perspective, we really enjoy that part of being in the family.
correct. I was about to ask that did you get to taste everything first before it goes out to the market?
Definitely. So I think at that point of time, we didn't have a quality control department
Ah,
or an R&D department.
ah,
So most of these recipes were designed by my grandmother, my mother, my dad. So all of them were involved into day-to-day activities of all of these
mm,
things.
mm,
So at that point of time, while we didn't fill out forms saying if we like it or not,
mm.
we still used to give our feedback.
Correct.
And
Opinion did matter.
so I think, and in that point, everybody in the family had an opinion about whether we like the product or not.
Okay, wonderful. Acha, what was the first product of Chitale Bandhu before it goes to the big list that we have now?
So I think Chitale Bandhu or Chitale Group as a whole started with the milk business. So
Huh.
milk was definitely the first product,
Mm.
and then in time we diversified into milk-based products, the mithai range, the namkeen range. So all that came on later. The beginning was definitely with milk.
I think Chitale Bandhu Shrikhanda is another hit, which very much popular in the deserts and very typical Maharashtrian desert, which is always a part of any festival thali. Um, so I think you are the fourth generation now,
Yes.
right? So when did it become a brand? Because I remember the very on the lighter side. आमची कुठेही शाखा नाही तू आमची सगळीकडे शाखा आहे सो इट्स बीन अ वंडरफुल जर्नी बट वी यूज टू स्टँड इन क्यू टू ग्रॅब दॅट अँड मेनी मोर स्नॅक्स सो वेन डिड इट बिकम अ ब्रँड ऍक्च्युअली
So actually, I think the dairy was established quite early in 1939. After that, in 1950, Raghunath Rao Chitale and his younger brother, who is my grandfather,
आय सी
Rajaram Chitale, established the Chitale Bandhu brand. But at that point, the focus was all on milk and milk-based products.
करेक्ट
And
करेक्ट
then later on, the namkeens came. I think in 1976, Bakarwadi was introduced.
करेक्ट
Like you said, it became an instant hit with all the people in Pune.
करेक्ट
And in the early 80s, when the demand for Bakarwadi was so high that, like you said, it was a very common occurrence for the stores to have the party Bakarwadi Sampli. And I also feel that this ironic Puneri party kind of gave us the brand recognition that we have today. So that I
True.
feel is a turning point for the brand as well.
True. It makes sense. You know why? Because that's how you get your market value, and that's how you get the popularity, I would say, when you are not
Correct.
available. Wonderful.
Correct.
Um, you know, I think now it is not limited to milk products and bakarwadi alone. Now you have a range of products. Uh, so I think you have multiple brands as well. So I
Correct.
of course, I know you cannot put focus on everything, but anything you can little bit briefly tell about.
So I think, like Chitale Dairy and Chitale Bandhu are the very well-established brands. But
Correct.
now in Chitale Bandhu, in order to reach out to a wider audience, we have just recently launched two new brands.
Hmm.
So one of them is the M Square brand,
Hmm.
where M Square stands for Mindful Meaningful.
I
And
see.
in that, we're bringing forth the healthier versions of all the sweets
Hmm.
and just healthy snacks. We have no sugar alternatives.
Hmm.
We also have some alternatives which can be used for people who are maybe allergic to milk.
Yes.
So basically catering to our audience and bringing out healthier snacks. And then the other brand which we've launched is called the Binge brand.
Hmm.
So under Binge, we are basically bringing just quick go-to snacks.
Hmm.
So the first product which we have launched under that is Chuda bars and Bher
Hmm.
bars. So it is a
Hmm.
traditional Bher and Chuda, but in a nutrition bar kind of a format. So easier to go on the like grab and go on the way,
Correct.
and
Correct.
a different version of the snack which can reach out to a wider audience.
When did the new range of modern snacks come in picture? Because till then it was limited to very traditional and very orthodox food line.
I think it was all a very slow transition, I
Huh.
would say. And, even right now, we cater to both the audience because we definitely want to stick to our roots.
Hmm.
So the changing point for us I feel, is the packaging technology which was
Hmm.
brought in
Hmm.
by my brother and my cousins.
Hmm.
So based on that, what happened was we were able to extend the shelf life for a lot of products.
Hmm.
And once we were able to do that, we were able to reach a market outside of Pune, outside of Maharashtra,
Hmm.
where we
Hmm.
cater to all of this audience, which was different. The demand was different. So it was a gradual change where if you see that we also are trying to put forth our traditional Maharashtrian mithai
Hmm.
and selling it outside to the entire world
Hmm.
as well as catering to the newer trends.
True, and what you said makes sense that you are in a perishable business, and then the shelf life is most important, critical part of your business life. Also, I know that currently I am based out of Bangalore, and I crave for many Chitale products which I do not get here, and I somehow feel that even South Indians should know about it. They should get taste about it of it, and also know how healthy and how mouth-watering those savories as well. Um, Now, the young generation has entered, and as you rightly said, that they have changed a lot of strategies, especially the marketing and packaging. It has become really attractive and very smooth moving and fast moving product line now. Also, they say that if the young generation is in picture, they become very aggressive, and somewhere they compromise on the quality or on the tradition. What is your opinion about it?
Uh, I think some kind of aggression is kind of useful when you channel it in the right direction.
Mhm.
But I feel that as a family business, they're always looking to grow. And in terms of that, the fourth generation in our case had a very strong foundation, which was built forth by the older generations.
Yes, yes.
What their challenge was to take it forward.
Hmm.
And to do that they had to be aggressive. They had to bring use new technology to kind of make sure that we can increase the shelf life of the products.
Hmm.
We can reach a wider range.
Hmm.
And from that aspect, my brother Indrani Chitai and my cousin Kedar had really good ideas where they brought in new product lines, automation, new distribution channels, and also they had a very strong support from the older generations.
Huh.
So they used their aggression and channeled it in the right way. And with a lot of hard work and patience, I think they were able to make these lines a success.
Correct. And since the elders are there always to guide you and give you the required advice, so I think it is going in a proper direction. Also, now that you have entered in the picture, when did you enter in Chitale Bandhu product line? I mean, you were a part of family, but when did you come in a business?
Okay. So I think, as you rightly mentioned, by trade, I'm an engineer. And after completing my bachelor's from Pune Institute of Computer
Mm.
Technology, I went on to the US to pursue my
Correct.
master's.
Correct.
So I completed my master's in information management from the University of Maryland in College Park.
Okay.
Then I actually took up a job as a business analyst,
Mm-hmm.
and I was working for the American foray of the German supermarket brand Lidl. So there I worked for almost a year and a half.
Mm-hmm.
That was just to gain experience because at the back of my mind, I always knew that I wanted to come back to India and start my own IT firm.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
In terms of that, I wanted to get some real world experience about supply chain management, operations, how you can collect data from all these big chains and then use that data. So in early 2019, I moved back to India. And at that point of time, my goal was only to work on my startup. So I was figuring out what puzzle pieces to put together, the idea. It takes a lot of work to find
Absolutely.
to start a new company.
Yes.
And luckily, at the same time, my brother was actually working on a project to increase the availability of our products in Mumbai.
Mm.
So for there, like you mentioned, that we had a lot of demand,
Mm.
but we were not able to supply and go out
Supply.
with the right
Yes.
people. Yeah. So there, the constraint which we had figured out was that our super stockists and distributors did not have a good visibility
Mm-hmm.
about how retailers will buy. And because of the perishable product life, they were scared of stocking. So we put in an IT system where we started collecting data about how retailers were ordering from the super stockists, what they were ordering together, when they were ordering, so which day should they stock and which day should they not stock. So all these things we started collecting in an app,
Mm.
and that was basically his idea, and he needed somebody to execute
Mm.
all these things.
Mm.
Me being the data person stepped in,
Mm.
and I got some real life experience about working in the Indian market. And we actually did this project where we got all these data, we were mining the data and giving them data driven decisions. So we were telling them how much to stock by actually giving them the data, so they were not scared to stock, and that kind
Uh-huh.
of increased our retailer range. And we were able to go from say 200 or 250 retailers to an active 500 or 600 retailers right before COVID. So there I realized the importance of what data can do in our business as well. And that was one project, it turned into another, and I slowly started getting involved in more day-to-day activities in the IT terms of the business.
And I think now you are heading an IT department of Chitale Bandhu, right?
Correct. Yes.
Yeah.
So right now I'm working. So we are also changing a lot of internal systems right now.
Mm-hmm.
We are using SAP, which is a very standard world-class ERP system. So that is the project which I'm leading right now.
Okay.
And my role in the system is basically just to make sure that we have a strong infrastructure so that the entire organization has a IT support on which they can grow on. Because as we are growing, we need a strong IT backbone. If we
Mm-hmm.
don't have that, then it's going to be very difficult to control all the things. So that is basically my role.
Okay, so are you now that you are talking about a lot of IT and that kind of story, are you also putting in some artificial intelligence and those kind of data analysis for your uh, market study?
Definitely. So the project which I mentioned earlier in the Mumbai part of it, so there we were using artificial intelligence where we were predicting what things will go together. If it is a rainy day, then nobody is going to buy the hay.
Mm,
They're going to
mm,
buy namkeens.
mm,
So all those things we are definitely using to figure out how much should be produced, when should be produced, and what should be doing. What should be doing with our trends.
mm,
So on that aspect, we are definitely using data analytics and predictive modeling. In terms of the entire ecosystem, we are going through a digital transformation right now.
mm,
So that is the first step. And once we have all the data together
mm.
in a newer format, it will be more easier for us to implement this across the board. So
Absolutely.
right now we have done it in smaller patches throughout the company, but it will
Definitely.
all be in one system. So
Definitely. And I think it will help to scale up also, not
correct.
across the nation as such, across the world as well. Now, coming with this comes the byproduct. Uh, there is this food industry has a very fierce competition, and especially the snacks part, because as a buyer or as a customer, if I am walking on a 100 feet road, let's say, I have n number of options available, and everyone claims that mine is healthy. Okay. And I'm hungry, so I really want something quick, and I really do not want to think if it is really healthy.
Correct.
So are you going to, with the new generation, and that you guys have done so much of market study, as well as you have seen the health parameter also makes a lot of difference in today's world. Everyone should be really updated and aware about it. So since we are very low on physical activity, now it's time to control the food. So are you introducing something that will challenge the unhealthy snacks options available in the market? I'm sure it's tricky, it's
Yeah.
very risky as well, but it's welcome.
So I think the mindful, meaningful brand which I mentioned about M
Hmm.
Square
Yeah, you said it here.
designed especially to cater to this part and to cater to this solution.
Hmm.
So right now, in terms of customer buying awareness, that has definitely increased. The customer
Hmm.
wants to know what they're eating,
Hmm.
and from that aspect, we have always been very open about what ingredients we use. Whatever we use is all natural. So in terms of even if it has sugar content, we try to keep it as healthy as possible.
Hmm.
But for people who want to have something which is really healthy,
Hmm.
there is definitely going to be an option for them.
Yeah, because currently I'm working with one doctor, and wherein we have seen that there are n number of material or products, raw material or supplements which should be out of the shelf
Correct.
because they are damaging health big way, and especially with the pandemic, the
Correct.
awareness is more, and people should be very very careful about their intake.
Def-
And what you said is going to be the demand which we look forward to from Chitale product possibly available for us everywhere. Um, so to reach out to new market, uh, you are popular before. Chitale Bandhu was known to Pune and Mumbai, especially people. Even the Solapur and Nagpur people were not fond of it. Reasons can be anything, but now that with the popularity, you have come out of Maharashtra. It's not confined to Mumbai, Pune, or Maharashtra. It has come out. Definitely, it has. It has gone out of India as well. So kudos for that and congratulations for that. However, to capture more new market, any strategies?
I think I am not the right person to answer this. Like I said, I'm new
Sure,
to the IT end.
sure.
But I think the main challenge there was that in the beginning, we didn't have the shelf life, so that we were
Mm,
not able to
mm,
actually reach out to the
mm,
audience
mm,
outside,
mm.
where we were not able to give them a product by maintaining its quality as well. But now
Correct.
that game has changed with our packaging products, and we are confident about providing the same quality to people who are further away from Pune as well. So
Yes.
from that aspect, slowly we are building our supply chain and making sure that we are able to reach Bangalore, for example.
Uh,
And in terms of that, I think it is a two-way thing that we have to have synchronization between our marketing as well as our production. So it's going to happen gradually, but it is definitely going to happen that we are going to reach out to more audience.
and I think you should do it because, as I say, saying again and again, we need to have these snacks known to people and available to people as a very healthy alternative and option. I personally want that to happen, whether my word has any value or not, but I really want that to happen. Uh, is there any situation, Janhavi, that when you got into the business, it's been like more than 2 years now, and something that is not your forte, now that you're coming from a typical software background, and suddenly you had to get into some shoes which you never wore before. So, anything, something that you have seen?
I think I would say that right now when we are doing this new ERP implementation project,
Here, Birna.
my role in that is not that of a developer or a data analyst, but
Hmm.
basically I'm trying to figure out how we can put this entire process into an IT process so that everything works smoothly. So to do that, I actually had to get into my mind about how the entire production process works,
Hmm.
how accounting entries flow, how
Hmm.
what we do in the factory is actually going to have an effect somewhere.
Hmm.
So I think all of these roles were a little newer for me. While I had worked in supply chain before and manufacturing domain before, the
Hmm.
accounting aspect was very new for me.
Hmm. Hmm.
So I actually had to understand all of that to make sure that we were replicating it properly into the IT systems. So that was definitely a little bit out of my comfort zone, but I got to learn a lot from it as well.
That's what makes a lot of sense. Acha, what is this Chitale Digital?
So Chitrai Digitals is actually a company which is run by my uncle,
I
who is
see.
based,
Okay.
and
Okay.
always had all of our systems which were developed in house. So he was the brainchild behind all of that.
Hmm.
And the RFID systems which we have in our stores, for example, which when you go to it, so
Hmm.
it has been developed under Chitrai Digitals, under my uncle's company, Vishwash.
And I really got very surprised first time when I entered the Chitale store. you used to have those cards which we would swipe through and get the billing at the end. That is definitely a part of digital working model, which not all the stores had before. And I think of late people didn't know how does that work. All we knew is how just to swap it around, and we didn't know how the system worked. Now maybe most of us know, but before we didn't know how to work. So it was definitely digital before as well, no doubt about it.
Definitely ahead of its times for sure.
Yes, definitely. Personally, Janvi, you are wearing two caps and taking care of Chitale's IT department and your startup. So, why you, first of all, you had a family business. So, why you thought that you should have your own venture as well?
I think I have always been interested more in math and logic and all of
Hmm,
that.
hmm,
So from the beginning, I knew that I wanted to go ahead and do something in terms of IT. And
hmm,
in terms of IT, I think I always felt that if I started something on my own, I would get more exposure, new challenges every day.
hmm,
So from that aspect, my first ambition in terms of my career was always to start this. And like I said, I gradually started working with the family business because I realized that there were common opportunities where I got an opportunity to learn as well as contribute to the family legacy.
hmm, hmm,
So I think the conscious decision was always to start my own company,
hmm.
and working or contributing to Chitale Bandhu kind of came gradually, and I'm enjoying wearing both caps now.
Yeah, I'm sure. And now that you have grown up in the same family and same house, and you have been in a quality testing before, informally or formally, so I'm sure you will enjoy that part as well. Uh, what is this your product of your analytics company, that is CEO Assist?
So in my analytics company, I think we want to mainly cater to small and medium scale industries
Hmm.
which work in the manufacturing as well as the supply chain domain.
Okay.
So what we've realized is that in the manufacturing and supply chain domain, all the SMEs are very similar problems.
Hmm.
So they have a lack of visibility of what the
Hmm.
market is going to show.
Hmm.
Then there's no synchronization between the departments.
Hmm.
Or the companies are smaller. The owner is busy in firefighting every day and
Hmm.
micromanaging everything. So they don't really have the bandwidth to work on maybe growing the company or to put their minds to things which might be more useful in the long run. So what we are trying to do with CEO Assist is that we are trying to give them a strong analytical model
Hmm.
which will help them figure out how much they should be producing, how much they should keep in stock,
Hmm.
what kind of actions they need to take in terms of finance, so
Hmm.
that they have a better cash flow and better synchronization throughout the company.
Hmm.
So if to do this, we are applying the concept of theory of constraints. So every
Hmm.
company has a constraint.
Hmm.
So you
Hmm.
figure out what the constraint is, and if you analyze it properly, then the flow will be uninterrupted,
Hmm.
and you will have better results by spending less money. So this
Hmm.
is kind of the gist of it, but it is an analytical system which
Hmm.
helps manufacturing companies
Hmm. Hmm.
run on a more optimized way.
Hmm. How is the market response to your startup?
So we recently knew, I think we started about a year and a half
Hmm.
ago.
Hmm.
So in terms of developing into a product, I think that takes a lot of time. So we are still working on that. But fortunately, we were able to kind of develop our products while we had some customers. So we do
Hmm.
have we do have 4 customers on board for the CEO Assist product right now. And we also do some short-term IT projects or data analytics projects like dashboarding, small projects where they need to find some particular data and they need to
Hmm.
mine some
Hmm.
data to
Hmm.
get some
Hmm.
particular
Hmm.
results.
Hmm.
So some short-term projects are also going on currently while we are
And the
developing.
pandemic has come in picture, so I think that has little bit
Correct.
slowed down everything. By the way, did the pandemic hamper Chitale products as well?
It did because
Uh,
for a long time our shops were closed.
uh-huh.
Factories,
Like every shop was closed. Yeah.
our factories, some of them were also closed because they were close to COVID zones and all of that. So it
Correct.
did affect us, it did impact us. But I think because we were able to produce the packed mithai, which I keep on saying, and the namkeens, and we were able to sell them in the grocery
Hmm.
stores because
Hmm.
the grocery
Hmm.
stores were open.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
because we were in the food industry, at least we were able to do that. So we
Hmm.
didn't have to stop running completely. So
Hmm.
that was definitely an advantage for us.
Yes, and I want to personally thank you because I got some um, Lakshmi Narayan Chuda and Bakarwadi right next door supermarket, and I was thrilled to see that I got Chitay products here. So, okay,
That's
wonderful.
really good to know.
Yeah. um, Personally, as a contributor in both in Chitale Bandhu and your own venture? Any personal goals do you have?
In terms of my own venture, I think, like I said, that building an IT product takes quite some time. So we are still in the very early stages of
Yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah.
So what we want to do is that we want to ensure that we are able to take the product to a level where, if any small and medium scale industry in the manufacturing domain,
Hmm.
if they want to optimize their day-to-day workings and if they want to use analysis and AI for it, then they should like we should be able to reach out to them. So that is the level of growth which we are aiming for, obviously. So that is definitely the goal in terms of CEO assist. And in terms of working for Chitale Bandhu, I think I'm able to contribute to the legacy. So that is something which has always been my goal, and I'm very happy about that. In terms of the long-term goal, I definitely want to be able to provide a good IT infrastructure to the entire company, so that whatever growth my cousins and my family is working on right now, IT is not going to be the hampering factor, because as we grow, that is going to be a bigger challenge, and that is my goal, is what I would say.
I'm sure, because as you scale up, you definitely need more digitalization, more IT setup in place, and also more market reach, because that's going to be your deciding factor. I'm sure about it. And I think your startup is still in infant stage, so it is yet to grow. So all the best for that as well. Um, they say that you have been, as you said, fortunate to get that upbringing wherein you could think out of the box and think about starting your own venture or even getting into the family business. Many people say that youngsters are misled, disoriented, and somewhere they look for the quick returns. So they want to reach there, but they don't want that in between journey of hard work. So do you agree with that point? And if at all it is so, how should youngsters channelize their energy?
So I think it would be wrong for us to generalize the statement, because
Hmm.
there are a lot of people out there who are also working really hard to get to the
Hmm.
position they are at.
Hmm.
So we shouldn't be generalizing this.
Hmm.
But in terms of some youngsters, yes, I do see that they want to get really quick returns and they don't
Hmm.
have the patience of hard
Hmm.
work.
Hmm.
When I started my own company, I think my dad told me the first thing that starting a venture on your own is a challenging thing. You need
Hmm.
to be patient. It is going to take time.
Hmm.
So that is something which you have to keep in mind. But I think I would just like to say that if we work hard and channelize our energy in the proper direction,
Hmm.
then you definitely see the results at the end.
Hmm.
Working hard and being patient are the two important things. If you climb the mountain too fast, then you're going to fall down. So that is something which everybody needs to understand. And as long as you're working in the right direction, everybody will get
Um, Coming from a business family background, is it easy to start a business?
It is definitely, because I think there are a lot of things involved when you
Hmm.
run your own business.
Hmm.
And for me, I think fortunately I was able to see them
Hmm.
since I was growing up.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
there is a con. I think my when we were growing up, actually, the dining table every day would be like a mini board meeting where
Hmm.
everybody is discussing what happened today.
Hmm.
So while we didn't understand all the ongoings at that
Yeah.
point of time, we always understood that how consume you have to be to run your own business and what are the challenges that come forth with it.
Hmm.
So that was something which we are already aware of when we get into this,
Hmm.
and we know it's going to be a difficult situation. So there we definitely have an idea of what happens. And I think the other part is that because you have people in your family who have already been there and done that, there is easy access to get guidance. So that is something which definitely helps. And that I think I'm lucky enough to be in that position. So I'm trying my level best to make the most of it.
And so is capital, because you don't have to go out to get the maybe some terms and conditions, but it's definitely
Yes.
an easy access.
Correct.
As a Chitale brand, everything is produced in house, or you have a kind of a partners or vendors who supply you something?
So right now everything is produced in house. So we do have some other Chittai companies
Hmm.
which are under the Chittai umbrella as
Yeah,
well.
yeah,
And they are the ones who produce them.
yeah,
So the Chittai Sweets and Snacks, for example, which is a Chittai owned company,
yeah.
it's just different companies to make production easier, I would say.
Because everything you don't send from Pune, I'm sure you have a factories. in the other places also. So is it a formula
Correct.
shared, or how is it?
Yeah, so basically we have standardization everywhere.
Hmm.
So we have standardized recipes. So if you're making the same thing at two different locations, then there is a standard recipe which is followed. And there is a quality control team which also keeps in check whether that is actually being done. So that is definitely maintained at the entire group level, because quality for us is the most important feature.
Absolutely.
And to maintain quality, this is something that we have to do.
Hmm. And you also have a training department for that, I'm sure, wherein you must be training the new
We
staff.
do. There are also some government or FSSI compliances which
Ah,
they have to. They have to get some
yes,
accreditations before
yes,
they
yes,
can be on these things.
yes.
So we do follow all of that, because quality is definitely the most important thing for us,
Yeah.
and we strive to ensure that we maintain that.
So thank you so much for your time, and wishing you all the best. And it's really energetic to talk to young people.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Namaskar.